Welcome to a very special Sunday session. As many of you will know, we've been running a competition on social media to find the nation's roast with the most. The winner on Facebook was Cliff Masters. He cooked an amazing Chinese rotisserie duck with Asian rub. We're going to recreate his recipe now so you guys can have a go at home. So the first thing we're going to do is make the rub. I've got some cayenne pepper and paprika, some ginger, some Chinese 5-spice, some allspice and a little bit of coriander we're going to grind down and make it really fine. Once all these elements are combined, we can then rub the duck. But I think before I do that, what we'll probably do is just add a little bit of rapeseed oil onto the skin so the rub can stick really easily. We're going to make up the spice mix now. I've got some coriander seeds, which are whole. You could use ground coriander, but I didn't have any. And I'm just going to grind those down and really get all the flavours out of those little seeds. So once you're happy with the consistency there, you just pour that into the glass bowl and we can carry on making the rest of the rub. So in here, I've got some paprika, some sweet paprika. It's not spicy, but I've also mixed in some cayenne pepper, so it has got a little bit of a kick to it. And I'm just going to add that to my coriander seed. Next, we've got some ground ginger. You could use fresh spices, but the reason we've gone for dried is they're much more robust when roasting and they have a tendency not to burn as much. So we're just going to pour that in. The next thing is Chinese 5-spice. This is the real hero of the rub, and it's going to give it that wonderful Asian flavour. A little bit of allspice, ground allspice as well, is going to give it a really exotic taste. And I think all that's left to do now is just season it with some salt and pepper. So a really good twist of sea salt. And same again with some black pepper. So we're just going to give the rub a little toss around, combine all the flavours, have a little bit of a taste. Oh, it's got a real punch to it. It's actually quite spicy with the cayenne pepper. We're now ready to prepare the duck. So this is a 2-kilo Gressingham duck, whole duck, and always make sure you remove that little plastic pouch with the giblets from inside, because that wouldn't be nice if you cook it with the plastic. With a fork, we're just going to poke the skin, but we don't want to go right into the meat. We just want to make some little puncture marks to allow the fat to render out. Now, to get that rub to stick really well, we're actually going to add a little bit of rapeseed oil. You could use olive oil. Okay. So it's now ready for the rotisserie. Rotisserie is one of my favourite ways of cooking. As it's rotating, all the juices are kind of self-basting and it makes the meat go very tender and soft and succulent with all that fat kind of soaking in. So this is my bar. You want to make sure that the duck is nice and central. That's really important, making sure it's very secure. And you want to make sure that really has some good purchase. So we're going to take a length of string. And we're just going to tie up these legs nice and tight. We'll just go around a few times. And now you can see that that duck is going to rotate round really well. Have a little look at the rotisserie ring. It really expands the actual capacity of the barbecue, making the cook box really much bigger. We've set it up for indirect, so we've got charcoal either side, and I've got a little drip tray in the middle to collect the juices. I'm going to get the duck on here, and I reckon it's going to take about 40 minutes before I start basting it with the hoisin sauce. I'm going to switch it on. You can see it starting to slowly rotate, and now we're just going to gently put the lid on. Lid on position, and now it is ready just to roast, rotate, get all the juices going for about 40 minutes before we baste it with the hoisin sauce. So I've just been checking the duck. It's sitting at a nice 170 degrees, so I've got a little bit of time to get the accompaniments ready. Now, we've all been to those Chinese restaurants and had the crispy aromatic duck, and I think that the perfect accompaniment for this duck would be the pancakes, spring onion, cucumber, and a little bit extra of the hoisin sauce. So let's get those ingredients prepped. I've got my dish here. I've lined it with some greaseproof paper just to keep it all a little bit cleaner. So we have to have pancakes. We're going to make these little wraps, obviously. Here we have the Chinese pancakes. So these do need to be steamed really gently. I've got my Chinese steamer here, and if I just open the lid, you can see I've rammed it with some of these Chinese pancakes. Now this little bamboo steamer just sits straight on a pan of boiling water and will just gently steam, softening up the pancakes. So the duck's had about 40 minutes, okay? So we're gonna have a little look. So I'm gonna carefully take the lid off, and look at that. That is really crisped up beautifully. I'm just gonna stop the motor because we're now ready to baste it with hoisin sauce. All we need to do is repeat that sort of every 5 minutes, just to allow the hoisin to really caramelise up, and then the duck will be ready for eating. Okay, so the duck is ready. Just look at that glaze on it. So I'm going to start to carve this duck up now. We're really going to shred it. I want to actually separate the legs. We want to cut the string. And now we'll just slice through the meat and take each of the legs off. So I reckon if you went round to someone's house and they presented you that, you'd be pretty happy. So let's roll this bad boy up. And look at that. I think we're ready to have a taste. Thank you for joining our Sunday session. For information on Cliff Master's recipe, please visit weber.com. Now join us next week where we're going to be cooking the Twitter winner's recipe, Alan Moore's smoked pork loin. So join us for that. See you then.